Kamala Harris says she's going to help small businesses with her latest, and it's an 82-page economic proposal. However, the Wall Street Journal editorial board claims her plan is just Bidenomics 2. The chair of the powerful House Ways and Means Committee, Jason Smith, joins me now. Congressman, Harris says she's going to help small business. She says she's going to give her $50,000 tax-free loans. What do you make of that?
It's a distraction, Stuart. Just look at her words and her actions, both of them. She voted against the Trump tax cuts in 2017, which cut small business tax rate by 20 percentage points. She's called for repealing the Trump tax cuts, which will result in every small business paying 43.4% tax rate, when right now they're at 23%. She is just using this as a distraction as new startup small businesses. But in reality, if you listen to her words and you look at her actions, she's not a friend of small business.
Are there votes in appealing to small business when you're a Democrat? I wouldn't think that votes are there.
I would think if you don't care and concentrate on small businesses, you don't care about the economy, because the small businesses are the economic engine of our economy. And we need to make sure that the policies set out for small businesses are the policies that help them grow and innovate and to invest. When they have faced inflation of over 20% under her watch in the last 3 years, the last thing they need is another 20% tax increase.
What small business really wants is economic growth. That's the engine for small businesses to thrive and move ahead. Now, the other side of the coin is Trump, Donald Trump. He gets no tax on tips, no tax on Social Security benefits, no tax on overtime, a limit of 10% on credit card interest. That sounds to me just a little bit like vote buying. Now, you'll no doubt reject that, but it looks like that to me.
So I'll tell you, next year is what I refer to as the Super Bowl of tax. You see $4.6 trillion worth of tax expirations at the end of 2025. So I've set up 10 tax teams to travel the country. We've been to 19 states, over 100 different meetings, meeting with stakeholders, site visits, to look at the entire tax code. Just not the provisions that are expiring with the Trump tax cuts, but everything. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to help clean up the code and make sure that it's a pro-growth, pro-America tax bill.
But you haven't responded to no tax on tips, no tax on Social Security benefits, no tax on overtime, et cetera, et cetera.
But I will. The no tax on tips, that's something I think that's very doable. It's in the Republican Party platform. Vice President Harris now also supports it, but she did it after President Trump.
No tax on Social Security benefits.
And if you look at what's happened, I'm glad we're having this conversation of no tax on Social Security benefits, because the provision of the tax cuts on Social Security benefits has stayed constant since 1980. And there's been a lot of inflation since 1980. It was $25,000 for one person, $32,000 for a married couple. So there's a marriage penalty. There's things Congress can do to make that right. But how many things have stayed the same since 1980 when inflation's gone up just 20 percentage points in the last 3 years? So these are all things we're going to be looking at. Of course, we have to have the discussions of how do we pay for them? How do we make sure we have a fiscally sound budget? And that's what we're in the process of working on right now.
Congressman Jason Smith, thanks very much for taking time out to be with us in New York today.
Thank you, Stuart.
Thank you, sir.